Hi everyone, I'm Taylor. For my assessment, I chose the VB map. Who designed this tool? So Dr. Mark Sudberg created the VB map. He created this assessment based off the principles of B.F. Skinner's verbal behaviors. So the importance of VB map is that it allows the clinician to get a comprehensive picture of the individual's strengths and weaknesses related to language and learning skills, which then allows them to create appropriate intervention or IEP goals. So it assesses a couple of things. So first, it has three different levels. So level 1 is 0 to 18 months, level 2 is 18 to 30 months, and then level 3 is 30 to 48 months. So the VB map has a couple of different parts. The three main parts are the milestone assessment, which is verbal related skills, the barriers assessment, which is language and learning acquisition barriers, and then transition assessment, which looks at if the child is ready to move from one environment to the other. So the milestone assessment gives the assessor a picture of the client's pre-existing verbal and related skills. So this can look at all of the verbal operands, which is man, tact, imitation, listener response, VPMTS. It looks at independent play skills, social play, linguistic structures, group and classroom skills, and early academic skills. Then the barriers assessment looks at 24 common language and learning acquisition barriers that a child with autism faces. So some of the things it looks at are different problem behaviors, instructional control, any defecate verbal operants, reinforcer dependency, prompt dependency, self-stimulation, and hyperactivity behavior, and a lot more. And the last one is transition assessment. So this kind of looks at all of the skills a child needs before making a transition from one environment to another. So this kind of looks at the overall score from their milestone and barriers assessment, and then also looks at their negative behaviors, their classroom and group skills, their academic independence, their variation of reinforcers, and rate of skill acquisition and self-help skills. So then there's another part called task analysis and supporting skills. This section of the assessment is related to the milestones assessment. The task analysis skills are skills that are considered earlier steps in reaching that specific goal. Supporting skills are skills that should be taught alongside the skills identified in the milestone assessment. Who does this assessment assess? Any child that has not reached typical developing language skills by age 4, children ages 0 to 48 months and preschool aged, and then any child that has not said their first word by age 2. So the psychometric properties, so in a couple of studies, I found the content validity. There was a study done in 2021 that showed the VB map has moderate to strong content validity. And then for reliability, a study was completed in 2019 that showed the VB map has a good inter-rater agreement and the milestone assessment has good reliability. So for administration, Sudberg advised that behavior analysis who have a basic understanding of Skinner's verbal operants can assess and do this assessment. They should also be familiar with autism and other developmental disabilities before they administer this assessment. So for scoring, first you're going to want to determine which level the client is currently performing at. So that's going to either be level 1, 2, or 3. There are going to be 170 learning and language milestones that will be measured. Under the 170 learning and language milestones, there are 5 skills under each verbal operant. So each skill is given either a 0, a half a point, or a point. The maximum score you can achieve is 170. After all 5 skills are tested, you add up those scores. Then you transfer the scores to an assessment grid by coloring in how many points they got based on the number in that skill set. So for example, one full box is for 1 point, half a box is for half a point, and the box stays blank if they got a 0 for that skill. The goal is to have all of the boxes on that grid colored in before moving to the next level. So for some peer-reviewed journals, after reading all of the literature, it was shown that the VB map is a reliable and valid assessment to be used with individuals with autism. This assessment is a great tool to use to understand a client's strengths and deficits in language and learning skills, and it is a useful tool to help create intervention IEP goals for individuals in regards to their verbal behavior.